Hey, I'm Mark, and today's project we're going to be carving a wooden bowl the old-fashioned way, using old tools. This is one that I've made years ago, and this was one I made a few weeks ago. We'll be staining it later. We'll be taking it out of a log, and some other ones I've made in the past. These two actually came out of the same log, same tree, same log. And this is a 100-year-old rocking chair. That's going to be next week's project. Also fix antique furniture. This was also a 100-year-old rocking chair that we just rebuilt. Take it completely apart and re-glue everything. I believe these two chairs were made by the same craftsman. A lot of similarities to it. Well, let's get started on today's project. First thing we want to do is take advantage of the split that's already in the log. So we'll take the maul and set it on there and try to get a nice split straight across. This is a red maple. I had a storm come through the other day and blew over a tree, and decided to make a few bowls out of the bigger pieces and cut up the rest for firewood. Well, let's get the ends trued up, cut those on the bandsaw, and get started. Well, the next step is, now that we got the ends trued up, get it locked down here, is to pull off, take the draw knife and just shave off the bark. You want to get all the way down to the real wood. If you don't, a little bit of bark you leave on there will just peel off. This is red maple. It was a tree that fell during a storm. My daughters always get excited when they hear a tree fell. I've got a lot of land, and they know that means that Dad's going to be making a bowl or something, and they love that kind of stuff. Red maple is it. The rest of the tree I'll cut up for firewood, but it's not very good firewood. It only has around 18 million BTUs per cord, compared to around 24 million BTUs on oak. But Mother Nature knocked the tree over, and I'm gonna get as many bowls and out of it as I can, and the rest will be firewood. Firewood I cut this winter won't be burned until next year. I'll stack it and season it. I usually have more than enough, and there's always some widow somewhere that needs some firewood, and we always bless them with it. Right now we need to get a flat spot on the bottom. This will be the bottom, this will be the part of the inner parts of the bowl. Get it sitting good and flat, and I'll start it just shaving it to get a flat spot. See how well that does. Alright, now we got the bottom of the bowl. This is actually the outer part of the log. So this is really going to be all that's going to be touching, just a small area in there. So next, we got to get this a nice, flat, even surface. And I got a huge dent there from where it split, so I got to get that straightened out. We're going to take an adze. It's a homemade tool. I made it out of a lawnmower blade. This one weighs right at a pound. And we're simply going to try to flatten it. If you're thinking about getting into carving bowls and woodworking, don't freak out about every little thing. It's not that hard. It's pretty much common sense. You just want to not put your thumb and your hand in the way when you're swinging. Don't expect to come out here one day to build a bowl, because your arm is going to give out after about 15 minutes of swinging until you get in shape. I only built a few years, say when I We had a nice storm a few weeks ago. It blew over a tree, and red maple kind of grows on the edge of the swamp. And down there and harvested it. Alright, I got it pretty well leveled out. I'm just going to take an old bucket. Happens to be about the right size. Matches the log, and just take a pencil and draw me half circle. This is a good piece. Don't have hardly any knots in it. And we're going to be working real close to this line now. Again, you want to choke up on it. Alright, I drew the outside of the bowl. I'm leaving it a little thick right now. We'll tune it down right at the end. I'm going to be using a hatchet. It's a right hand. You can see how it's offset, and it's only sharpened on this side. And we're going to be removing the bulk of the wood on the outer edges. I'm just going to get it close with this hatchet, then I'll switch back to the adze. Get it down the way I want. I can get a finish on it with the adze. This hatchet weighs right around 3 pounds, so it's a little hard on the arm. Well, that's about all I got time for today. I got some errands I got to go run. We'll Finish it up tomorrow. I got one of the ones I've already dried in the kiln. Morning we're going to work on getting real close to our line. We're going to switch to the chisel. And I don't put it in the vise. Clamp it down at all. It's too fragile. The edges will fray off. So pretty much just going to hold it here between my knees. Been raining all night. Supposed to rain all day today and then get below freezing. So it's a good rainy day project. I got the bowl locked in on this. All the wood chips and all the sawdust I produce around here, I put around my blueberry bushes. Blueberries do better if you put a little sawdust around them. And now I'm going to take my chisel flat side towards the back of the bowl, and I want to just kind of go along and hit all the high spots. I'm kind of riding on this, and I'm not just pushing straight down, I'm kind of going a little bit from left to right at the same time. And I'll go all the way around the bowl and just get all the little high spots before we now once I get the outside done, we'll switch to the inside, and I'm going to go back to the circular adze and basically try to pretty it up by hand. I can even take my hammer and tap it. Trick I do to get it to sit nice and flat and not wobble and have a nice edge is I'll take it outside on the driveway. It's raining right now, and I'll just rub it in a circular motion, basically just grind it down till it's all nice and even. Alright, here's one I made a few weeks ago. It's been dried out. Right before I stain it, I'm going to take and scrape it. It's kind of like scraping it with a credit card. It's got a square edge on it. Removes any, kind of like the final touch of sanding. I also do the inside. I got a half round one. So once we get that done, we'll pick out which stain we want. Here's a blank. Now I make these stains myself. I do a lot of repair work, and my wife likes this one. I call it bowl.Teak. It's some leftover stain that we did some repair work on a yacht. We had to match what was already there, and I've got a little bit left, and so that's what she chose for this one. We get it all prepped up and ready to stain. Well, it's been a couple of weeks. I let the bowl dry out. This is the other one we made earlier and stained. I got one coat of shellac on it. I'm going to sand it and put another. I'm just going to take the paper towel and rub it on. I'll let it dry out. And then I'll put a coat of shellac on it as well. It's really cold out this morning and I don't think the sun is going to shine. I left some imperfections in it. My wife likes it, leaving some of the tool marks. We'll let it dry, sand it, and put a coat of shellac on it. Well, I've let it dry for a couple of days. I've sanded it with 220 grit sandpaper. Now we're going to apply some shellac on it. I'm going to give it 3 coats, sanding it between each coat. Just brush it on, it's pretty simple. Well, this is the finished product, 3 coats of shellac. Was just going to be a piece of firewood, but now it's going to be in the family for generations. We got 4, 5, 6 bowls out of that log, and some firewood as well. But we'll see y'all on our next project. Appreciate y'all watching.